are your relationships today? Personal, professional. Could they be better? Welcome to Talk Time with Trish, with host Trish Forante and co-host Lisa Stewart. There are so many variables that affect our lives. What makes the difference in our lives is genuine communication. Now, here are your hosts, Trish Forante and Lisa Stewart.
This is Trish Forante, and welcome to Talk Time with Trish. Our show is about improving communication for both men and women. Today, we're going to talk about the ups and downs of relationships with our guest, Mr. Joel Lerner. Typically, we have expert guests with degrees in psychology, medicine, and/or law. Today, we're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to do something different. While our guest is an expert, it's not because of an institutional degree. Mr. Lerner is self-taught. While a bachelor's degree in communication was his foundation for achievement in retail operations and management, Mr. Lerner claims it was more useful in his interpersonal relationships. With a wife and 2 children for the last 5 years, Joel has been a house husband. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thanks for having me here, Trish. I guess I'd love to start off by saying everybody's an expert. Experience gives you being an expert. So when I speak to the people who are listening out there, everybody's an expert.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And that's very nice. Thank you. I'm sure the listeners will appreciate that. So tell me, let's talk a little bit about the ups and downs of relationships. Let's play a little bit here.
Okay. So ups and downs, they start from, when you meet somebody and you're in the relationship, nothing goes as planned and you have to deal with it. It's kind of like steering a ship.
Okay.
And, if you're going to be the captain of your life, you have to know how to handle navigating through all the ups and downs. And, I guess mistakes are the way they happen. So you learn from making mistakes, and boy, have I made them. So
okay, all right. So let me recap here real quick. Your mistakes were your teacher. Is that fair to say? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I was one of those guys who, was dishonest. I didn't know how to have a good one-on-one relationship and stay committed. And, boy, do you learn fast on how to, get straight, or it bites you on the you-know-what.
Okay. Tell us more about that. You're kind of speaking in circles here in
okay.
that. So let's talk about some experiences.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give an example. I was in a long relationship for 12 years with a wonderful Italian girl. And, I would say after 5 years, I started getting itchy. And I wanted to start seeing other people. And, I do what a lot of guys and a lot of girls don't do, more guys, because I could speak from guys. We're not straight. We're not honest. I didn't say, hey, you know what? I'm not in love with you and I really need to move on. No, I didn't do that. I stayed in it and kept going in it. And then I started seeing other people. And then I started setting up, an extra phone line and, keeping secrets, and I'll tell you, in turn, what happened was it made me sick. So that's where I got, all this acid reflux and getting sick, and 'cause I have a conscience and I felt bad, but I couldn't be honest. So
why couldn't you be honest? Let's talk about that for a second. Why couldn't you be honest?
Because why do we stay, sometimes we stay in relationships for the wrong reasons. We stay in relationships because they're comfortable, because it's cold out there. It's not familiar to go out there. And okay, I've got one thing here and I don't know what it's like out there. So, we stay in something secure, and a lot of times instead of breaking it off and being truthful, we'll go out with other people and lie. And I did a lot of that.
Ah, okay. A man who actually admitted to lying. I'm sorry, but I have to play with that a little bit. That's, thank you so much for being honest about that. I'm delighting in that, but so go ahead.
You know, Trish, this didn't happen till I met my wife. And I figured if I don't clean up my act quick, she's going to kick me to the curb. She'll throw me out. So, you know, when I met her, something hit me. I said, oh, wow, I got to do something. This is the girl. And, you know, stop your games.
Well, let's go back because I'm intrigued to the fact that you're admitting that you lied in example number 1. I want to play in that swimming pool for a little while. So what happened with that? What was the aha that you took out of that 12-year relationship that really in your mind should have ended after 5 years? What were the takeaways? First of all, how did you end it? I'm really interested in knowing that.
Well, I did it what every not straightforward guy at the time does. I left that relationship for another relationship, and I kind of let it drift out of my life. You know, I let her break it off with me because I was too much of a coward. I didn't want to hurt her. You know, the bottom line is I didn't know how to do it. And, you know, it takes courage to say, hey, you know what? This isn't right. It's not going anywhere. So basically what I did was I got into a very, very bad relationship from there that really, drowned my life. And I had to start all over after that. So some people say, you know, they believe in karmic justice and what goes around comes around. Well, I got mine big time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment. What I want to do though is I want to go back to the relationship that we're talking about right now where you allowed the circumstances to unfold in such a way that it was so painful for her that it was better for her to get out than to stay in. Is that correct? Is
Correct.
That what happened?
Well, you know, I stayed in it so long, there were expectations. Because when you stay in something for a long time, then, you know, one of the partners thinks, okay, there's marriage down the road. You know, this is a commitment. And there's a timetable. I let that timetable go on way too long.
Some would say 10 years too long if she wanted to get married, but.
Oh, she wanted to get married a lot earlier than that. There was a time when, I'll tell you a quick story. Her mother, you know, Italian mothers don't play around. She sat me down with her and, so what are you doing? You're either gonna blank or get off the pot. And I wiggled my way out of it the way I usually would in these kind of situations. And, it just kept going on and on. And, you know, my girlfriend at the time would leave little notes. When are you going to bring me the ring? You know, I'm waiting for it and I want this size. I want that. And I would just ignore it. And I would just say, okay, down the road. And that 12 years just kept going on and on and on.
And so then you met this other woman who tickled your fancy enough to treat the first woman poorly. Is that correct?
No, I never treated the first one. Well, I shouldn't say that. No. I treated her poorly behind the scenes. I was good to her, but I kept on another life. I had another life. I would see other women and, obviously I would make excuses to get away. I definitely didn't want to have sex with her. I after a certain
that would have
point,
been clue number one.
Just, you know, I wasn't in love. And I stayed in it. So then, I met this other girl and, you know, it was exciting. It was new. And I let the other relationship kind of just drift out where she just, we stopped talking. And she started seeing other people. So I met the other one who it was you know, exciting, new, but she was very bad. She wasn't a good girl.
I have to stop you there for a
Go
second.
ahead.
I'd like to know, and I believe our listeners would be interested in knowing, why do you call yourself a coward in that circumstance?
It doesn't, I don't, see it. I see it now when I'm 48. I see that it's better to just be honest, just to come clean. Save yourself the heartache. Save yourself the years. I'm not going to get back, and this girl will not get back the 12 years that we both wasted. So I could have made it a lot easier by just telling her early on, you're an awesome person. I love you, but this isn't going anywhere. So I took the easy way out. The easy way was just to stay in it. How many of us just stay in things that are just not right for long periods of time?
Many. That's why I keep circling back to this issue, because there are so many couples who, and I'm not talking about married couples, because that's a whole different genre. It's a whole different ballgame. But there are so many couples that just stay together because it's like scary out there. It's scary. And so you stay in it because it's secure, predictable, not scary, and hard to get out of. That's the twist here, is that the longer you stay, the more difficult it is to get out of. So help me with this, we drifted apart, because that makes no sense to me. I'm putting myself in the place of this woman of 12 years. If I was in a relationship for 12 years with someone, I would be like a pit bull. There would be no drifting. So tell me about that.
Well, the way it happened was, I went away with this other girl. I saw less and less of the long-term relationship. And, we still kept in contact, but she knew it wasn't going anywhere. I knew it wasn't going anywhere, and I let it drift. And that's what happened. And unfortunately, at the time that happened, her father passed away. So, not that that's a good thing, but other things preoccupied her attention at the time.
Oh, okay. So you lucked out.
I guess you could say that. Very morose, but yes.
Well, let's stop there, because it is time
I have to tell you
break.
one thing. I loved her mother, but we can get back to that another time.
Okay, we do have to go to break. This is Trish Forante, and today my guest is Mr. Joel Lerner. You're talking to Talk Time with Trish on Voice America Health and Wellness Channel. Please stay tuned.
Better communication means better relationships in every sense of the word. When you communicate more effectively and interact more effectively, your life is lived more effectively. Tune in to Talk Time with Trish, featuring host Trish Forante and co-host Lisa Stewart. Our program is all about the human element. We are all comprised of parts and stuff that we may be aware of or others may be aware of. When we become aware of what others are aware of, it means more to us. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific on Voice America Health and Wellness.